Hello and welcome everyone to newspaper Analysis Townhall. Today, 11th July, the World Population Day. We are going to see the following topics. First one, zonal councils. Second and third article you see are related to population. First article is about how population is rising, and second is how there are fears of the population decline in the upcoming decades. Then next is Eklavya Schools related to scheduled tribe students, and then right to vote. This right to vote article is very important. It will clear a lot of doubts regarding right to vote in prelims as well as mains examination. Okay, so let's start. Zonal councils. So recently the 27th Eastern Zonal Council meeting happened, which was chaired by the Union Home Minister. So what are zonal councils? When do they form? And what are their importance? See, zonal councils are formed to foster cooperation among states, to promote regional integration, it does not promote only cooperation among states but also center and state, as Union Home Minister is the chairperson of the council. See, here we will see what are zonal council, when did they form, and what are their importance. This one data is very important for the mains examination, which we can write. The number of zonal council meetings has increased to 63 between the period of 2014 to 2025. Number of meetings 63, as compared to the period between 2004 and 2014, which was 25 meetings. So take note of this data. See, zonal councils are not constitutional bodies. They were set up under the States Reorganization Act of 1956. Under this, 5 zonal councils were formed: Northern, Central, Western, Southern, and Eastern. Northeastern Council was set up separately under the Act of 1972, Northeastern Councils Act 1972. The organization structure of the zonal council is: Union Home Minister is the ex officio chairman of all the zonal councils. The chief minister of a state in that region is the vice chairman, and they are formed by annual rotation. For example, if there are 5 states in the Southern Council, then chief minister of each state will be the vice chairperson every 5 years. So with rotation, 1 year this chief minister will be the vice president, next year Karnataka, next year Kerala, then Tamil Nadu, in that manner. There are 2 other ministers from that states which are nominated by the governor, and also 1 nominee from Niti Aayog. It also has a secretariat of its own. See, questions in exam can come on about its status, statutory or constitutional, but one such questions can also come on the states. Which states are part of the which zonal council? Northern, Central, Eastern, Western, and Southern. See, the interesting case of Sikkim. There is a confusion whether Sikkim is a part of Eastern Zonal Council or Northeastern. After verifying from the Ministry of Home Affairs website, the issue is Sikkim was earlier part of Eastern Zonal Council. But in 1972, Northeastern Council was formed. In Northeastern Council, 7 states were there. Sikkim was not there originally. But through the amendment in 2002, Sikkim was made member of Northeastern Council. And this can also be seen from the recent meeting of Eastern Zonal Council, where the 4 eastern states were there: Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha, and West Bengal. So keep this in mind. Sikkim is part of the Northeastern Council. Even on website of Ministry of Home Affairs, it is given under Eastern Council, Sikkim. But below that, it is written that after the amendment of 2002, the process of shifting it to the Northeastern Council was started. So Here we can see Sikkim is not a part of the Eastern Zonal Council. So this is about the zonal councils and this data. Okay, so let's pick the next issue. Just do remember these states. It can come any day as a statement in exam. This is the Sikkim. It was earlier also part of the Eastern Council, so cut it from here and add it to Northeast Council. Yes, next two articles. One is related to the increasing world population, and second is related to the population decline. Yes, these two very contrasting things, but let's see, both of these are happening. See, in these articles, what is the major theme is the world population is increasing. So with that, pressure on natural resources increasing. So it can be used in two ways. One, it can become a burden on economy and ecology. Second, it can be utilized for higher growth. How it can be utilized? If the population is healthy, receives education, skill education is there, then this population can be utilized for the higher growths. So here in this article, what is important is various data which is being given, which is very important for mains, and various good case studies are there. Various initiatives are there. Okay, so let's see. Firstly, world population has crossed the 8 billion mark. According to 1994 International Conference on Population and Development, what is the aim? That every person should get right to make informed choice about their sexual and reproductive health. Okay, so this year World Population Day theme, according to United Nations, says empowering young people to create the families they want in a fair and hopeful world. So the special focus is on youth. In respect to India, India has 371 million youth in age group of 15 to 29. See, this is very important. These data you don't get every time everywhere. So 371 million population of youth between 15 to 29 years old. What it is saying that with the right investment in education, skill, health, nutrition, family planning, they can become driver of national progress. Again, this data, according to a study by World Bank and Niti Aayog, India could boost its GDP up to 1 trillion by 2030 while unlocking demographic dividend. So $1 trillion by 2030 if India utilizes its population, the youth. For that, India has launched various initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, adolescent health program, reducing child marriages. Child marriage, in case if we see, it has halved since 2006, but still it is 23.3 as per National Family Health Survey 5, NFHS 5. Again, this data becomes important. So I'm highlighting the important data for you. Keep note of this. Okay. Then issue of child marriage. See, child marriage issue is very comprehensive. It is multi-pronged. It includes lack of education, contraception access, nutrition, mental health support. According to UNICEF report, see, now what we can do to reduce the child marriage issue? What are the various benefits if we reduce the child marriage? According to UNICEF report, additional year of secondary education can reduce the likelihood of child marriage by 6%. So these can be used in case studies also. If a case study comes where you are working as a district collector in a district where the child marriage is very prevalent. So what will you do? You promote girl education. Why? Yes, there is data supporting it that 1 year of additional year of secondary education can reduces the likelihood of child marriage by 6%. Okay. Similarly, there is Project Udan, which is implemented by IPE Global with Rajasthan government, where, see this, you can read it. The initiative addressed the challenge of early marriage and teenage pregnancy. How? By keeping girls in secondary school through the strategic improvement of awareness of sexual and reproductive health. Similar one program of Advika program. Okay, Udan, now Advika in Odisha with UNICEF and UNFPA, making strategies to prevent child marriage. Then there is Project Manzil by IPE Global in Rajasthan only, where it imparts skill training to women. Skill training government, skill training centers, 16,000 women were employed. So if you impart education to a girl, what happens? Marriage is delayed. If marriage is delayed, means child bearing delayed. It means less chances of reproductive health issues for mother as well as the child. At the same time, when the marriage is delayed, you get education, you get skill, which you pass on to the next generation. So this is how we build a generation of capable individuals. So these initiatives you should keep in mind, and the data we have highlighted. This is all about this article. Next one is population decline. Population, see, we discussed population increase, but there are issues of population decline also. Elon Musk, we all know who Elon Musk is. He is concerned about falling birth rates, and he has predicted a population collapse. And he has even given a donation to a higher education institution to establish population well-being initiatives. So there are various theories regarding this. So now we are moving from one-way Malthusian cry about runway growth and ecological strain, that population is increasing and there will be strain on the ecology. Now we are thinking about fear of fast falling fertility rates. Okay. So in this report, what it is saying, World Population Prospect Report, which is being released by United Nations, it has predicted that world population will increase from 8.2 billion in 2024 to 10.3 billion in 2080. Okay. Then again it will fall by the end of 21st century. And the burden of this, see, fertility is falling. So there will be hue and cry about that we should produce more child. So the panic over falling birth and aging population has unjustly targeted women. Those women who have opted out of childbearing, curbing their right to abortion and other means of contraception. So various issues, various things can be used against women as a shield to increase the population, the fertility rate. Now the real fertility crisis, various data has been collected, various 40% of the respondents in a survey, when they asked about the factors that has influenced people to have fewer children than they desire, infertility is one of the reasons, financial limitation, housing limitation, quality, childcare, and unemployment. So if you see, apart from infertility, most of these things are related to the economy. Even Republic of Korea has spent more than $200 billion to increase its population. So both these articles basically giving us very important data, initiative, and case studies, which we can directly use in a mains examination. Okay, next. Central government and UNICEF to provide career counseling for Eklavya students. Okay, let's see what are Eklavya students and what are the Eklavya model residential schools. Here, UNICEF and center will collaborate to provide counseling for Eklavya students, counseling regarding their career growth. Okay, psychological assessment, career counseling and training in life skill and self-esteem. It is called as Talash. Today's newspaper contains so many good keywords, initiatives, which we can directly use to increase our marks in mains. Talash stands for Tribal Aptitude, Life Skills and Self-Esteem Hub. It is an innovative digital platform designed to equip Eklavya model residential schools, which we will see, with essential tools for self-discovery and career planning. It promotes self-awareness. What are Eklavya model residential schools? These schools were set up basically to provide quality residential education to scheduled tribe students from class 6th to 12th in basically remote areas. And they will be set up in blocks where 50% of the ST population should be there, minimum of 20,000 tribal persons. This is the criteria for a Eklavya model residential school to be set up. Under this, under Ministry of Tribal Affairs, a body nests. It is given in the article also. It has been set up to look after these residential schools. It stands for National Education Society for Tribal Students. Acha, can non-ST students, non-scheduled tribe students also enroll in these schools? Yes, they can. But there's a limit of 10%. Up to 10% non-ST students can be enrolled in these schools. So this is all about Eklavya model residential schools. Now we are coming to the most important article of the day. Need to safeguard the right to vote. Here we will get very important information for prelims and mains, because UPSC asks specific questions in mains examination from election or right to vote or such issues. So let us read it. This is the article, and I have highlighted the important points in this. See, what is the issue which is going on? Recently, we know in Bihar, electoral revision is going on. Supreme Court has said that Aadhaar card, ration card, and the voter card, which is issued by Election Commission only, they should be used as a proof for an individual to register as a voter in a constituency. So this issue has come up with in Supreme Court as special intensive revision of electoral laws in Bihar. Because according to the Supreme Court, right to vote goes to the very root of functioning of republic. It is the very foundation of democracy. J.S. Mill, John Stuart Mill, his view is that voting should be reserved for the enlightened. Why? Because only they know who to vote. According to him, enlightened people are aware and they can make right choice. So he was in favor of denying voter rights for the ignorant. Ignorant meaning the Aam Janta. For example, in UK also, the voting was restricted to male property owners only, which was made universal for male in 1918 and for female in 1928. US, the similar case was there. It is saying in US, UK and developed economies also, voting rights was restricted to men, and that too with some restrictions. It was not extended to women. But in India, there was no concept of gradualism or privileged class criteria. Article 326 of the Constitution granted every citizen the right to vote, regardless of gender, caste, religion, education, or property. Okay, this criteria of 21 years of age, which was originally in the Constitution, that everybody above 21 of age should get the voting right, it was lowered to 18 by 61st Constitutional Amendment of 1989. In Supreme Court's case of Keshwanand Bharti case also, democracy was set as a basic structure of the Constitution, and right to vote is at the base of the democracy. Okay, Winston Churchill rightly said, you can use this as a quote in your essay or mains examination. At the bottom of all tributes paid to democracy is the little man, common man, walking into little booth with a little pencil, making a little cross on a little bit of paper. That is highlighting how important right to vote is. Now the next question comes is voting a fundamental right in India? Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar and K.T. Shah, they wanted to include it in the fundamental right part, but the advisory committee basically rejected the idea. So the question came up with Supreme Court. Supreme Court in Kuldeep Nair versus Union of India 2006 held right to elect is a statutory right under Section 62 of RP 51. It is not a fundamental or constitutional right. But in 2016, a two-judge bench in the 𝐼𝐸𝐽𝐝 versus State of Haryana described right to vote as a constitutional right. But this judgment will not prevail. This judgment will prevail. Why? Because it was a constitution bench. 5-judge bench. It was a 2-judge bench. So it will prevail. Then the same question again come before Supreme Court in Anup Baranwal versus Union of India 2023. Again, the court did not pronounce on the issue, saying it has been settled in Kuldeep Nair case. So as of now, right to vote is a statutory right. Okay. Now, why does the electoral roll accuracy matters? Fair and free election rests on the accurate electoral roll. When the electoral roll basically is a list of eligible voters in a particular constituency. If there are inaccuracies, mass omissions, ineligible inclusions, duplication, basically it undermines the very basic concept of one person, one vote. So Election Commission is empowered under Section 21 of 1950 Act, the RPA, to prepare and revise the electoral rolls so that integrity is maintained. In Bihar election, it is doing that only. See, exclusion should not be there, one who is eligible, but at the same time, inclusion of somebody who is not eligible should also not be there. This is what Election Commission is doing in case of Bihar. Now, the next question which comes is under Article 324. So, Election Commission is the constitutional guardian of election. So, it prepares electoral roll, which mandates that any citizen above age of 18 ordinarily resident in a constituency should not be disqualified. What is ordinary resident? If I go to some other state and stay there for 1 month, 2 months, do I become the ordinary resident? Ordinary resident implies a genuine, continuous presence. It's not a temporary stay. For example, if a student is living in hostel, may not qualify as resident if he is willing to go back to his native state or native place. Okay. Now let's see what is the issue. Postal ballots. Who are eligible under postal ballot? Under Rule 18 of Conduct of Election Rule, postal ballot are available to whom? The service voters. Who are service voters? Armed forces personnel, paramilitary, state police, government staff abroad, and voters on election duty. The overseas electors, for example, NRIs, those who are citizen of India but staying outside, they have to come in person to vote. They are ineligible for postal or proxy voting. Okay, they must vote in person. So this can also come in exam any day. This can also come in exam any day. This has already been asked, can again come. All these are very important issues. See, regarding this, in the Lal Babu Hussain case, the court quashed 2 election commission directives, which allowed district collectors and electoral registration officers to identify and delete alleged foreigner voters from the voter rolls. What did Supreme Court say? Supreme Court says that the onus of proof of citizenship should not be on the person involved. So a proper procedure should be made. And the past electoral rolls, if a person has voted in the last election, now you're disqualifying him in this election, so it should be reasonable. So the past electoral roll should also be given the weightage to include somebody or exclude somebody in the electoral rolls, and also conduct full inquiries. What is next? Next is related to Bihar only. So the electoral roll should be accurate, inclusive, and accessible. Public awareness should empower voters to verify and update their entries, and it should be a robust process should be there. Discretion should not be there. Discretion should not be there. So this is all about right to vote. Very important aspects. Such issues, such nitty-gritties do not come very often in newspapers or any magazines. So this is very important. Just take a note of this. So this is it for the 11th of July today. So we'll now see you tomorrow. Until then, keep studying. Thank you.